shot. We knew something was going on. Yeah, all right.
But there's something about the autumn, the fall woods, November, leaves start.
To outsmart a 3.5, 4.5, 5.5-year-old mature whitetail buck is, I'll promise you, what dreams are made of.
It's going to be a long time until I miss bow season out here in the Colorado Rockies.
Anyway, I've had fun. I don't have to kill one to have a good season. It's just been great being out here and seeing stuff like this.
It's mid-November. The temperatures are dropping, days are getting shorter, and the whitetail rut is in full swing. There's probably no other time that finds the king of North American game animals any more vulnerable. For countless hunters who go afield in pursuit of the king, this is the time of year they've dreamed about all year. The whitetail rut is truly the sole destination for myriads of monster buck daydreamers. The Drury Outdoors Team is no exception, and this year was more than just a season to remember, as dream after dream came true. In this production, you'll be a part of their incredible season as you witness breathtaking hunt after breathtaking hunt. Join in as world champion caller Mark Drury harvests a gorgeous Heartland 8-point. Terry Drury also succeeds as he takes an unbelievable 153-inch Illinois monster. Terry's son Matt also connects with his first deer ever, a 17-inch wide 8-point. You'll also see champion callers Mark Scroggins and Steve Stoltz score on 2 bucks of a lifetime, a Heartland Lodge 160-inch and a Shadow Oaks 168-inch. Iowa native Kandi Kisky joins in the fun as she harvests her first bow kill ever. This production also takes an in-depth look at calling, as Illinois bow hunter Stan Potts gives you some hardcore tips on calling trophy bucks with the new Power Punch grunt call from Mad Calls. I think everyone will agree that the Drury Outdoors squad truly did have a dream season. And as always, they did it the way you would have done it. 100% wild, 100% fair chase.
Our story begins in the great state of Illinois, which could quite possibly be the greatest whitetail mecca in the entire country. Our first hunt begins with 6-time world champion caller Mark Drury hunting a particular deer that began as an abundance of tracks frequenting a muddy cornfield and a number of sizable rubs, which allowed us to put 2 and 2 together. Selecting the right tree on an obvious land bridge wasn't a problem, but hoping to catch just a glimpse of the buck that readily deposited so much sign were our hopes. Waiting for the perfect wind to enter for the very first time became crucial. Our instincts proved correct. Unfortunately, it seemed as though at first that a glimpse was all this buck would offer. But response to the alluring rattling and grunting can be deadly. Let's watch.
Yeah. Down. Oh, baby. He went down right there in the cornfield. God, was that exciting. Oh, man. It is so cold this morning. I'm shaking like a leaf. 25 degrees, winds out of the northwest. First good high pressure of the rut. November the 8th. 2 does come in. Right behind him, a beautiful 8-point buck. Come all the way in, stood right there at 10 yards. Oh, so excited. That is awesome. Totally awesome. He come in and he made a little rub over there. And then he started rubbing his hocks right there. And he kept on walking. I just kept waiting. I thought, boy, just quarter away from me. Please quarter away. And boy, here he come. Oh, that was so fantastic. Awesome.
Rarely do dreams become a reality, but on such a beautiful, crisp, clear morning, the premonition shines our way.
That's what I love about my APIs. Hunting here in the Midwest, hunting at Heartland Lodge over here in Pike County, Illinois, there's a lot of trees with a lot of limbs, and climbers don't work very well. So our favorite stand has always been the hang-on stands from API, whether it be a Baby Grand or an AL100 or an AL50 or an AL100M. They're quick to put in, they're secure when you get them there, and they're just as easy to pull and carry out with you. 11 steps from the tree. Man, that little guy, he put on a show. Did he shoot out of here like a rocket? Goodness gracious. Dirt kicked up everywhere. Fantastic. Hit him a little bit high, but at that angle, I wanted to get down into those vitals. Let's go get him. Goodness gracious, how lethal. Start. God, good night. Look at this buck. Oh. Awesome. Fantastic. Wow. Man, this guy, I didn't notice it when he came in, but is he ever scarred up? Goodness. I hung this AL100 here about 2 weeks ago, and I've been waiting for this wind to kick out of the northwest because it blows it out over this cornfield. And it's a perfect little funnel situation between this block of timber and that block over there. And when I hung the stand, I noticed no less than 4 or 5 different doe groups using this area, and I knew that come the rut, which today is November the 9th, we'd start to see some movement through that funnel area. Hopefully some bucks would be in here looking over these doe families in here. And sure enough, this guy came through early this morning. Neat little deer, probably a 2.5-year-old buck, but notice the body on this deer. I mean, he's just absolutely huge. I mean, one of the biggest body deer I can remember ever harvesting. Man, was it exciting to see him come through. There's nothing like the first strong high pressure system during that mid-November period. I mean, you just know something good's gonna happen, and indeed, this morning it did. Nice deer, excellent. He went down right there in the cornfield. God, was it exciting. Oh, man, it is so cold this morning. I'm shaking like a leaf. 25 degrees wind.
Whitetail deer are very curious animals.
Stan Potts is a veteran bow hunter of more than 30 years and has accumulated a wall full of world-class monsters. He is, without question, one of the most successful bow hunters in North America. Stan's accomplishments have anchored him staff positions with Browning, Mossy Oak, Muzzy Broadheads, and Mad Culls. Stan is now utilizing all his talents as he manages the hottest outfitting facility in the country, Heartland Lodge in Pike County, Illinois. Let's listen in to some of Stan's advice on calling monster bucks.
Calling deer. How important is calling deer to me? Well, let me tell you, I've been deer hunting for 30 years. And about 10 years ago, I was introduced to calling deer. Calling deer, as far as I'm concerned, is as good as it gets any time of year. Early season, the time we're out here now in November, and late season. It works all the time. How much success can you expect from calling deer? You can expect a lot of success, but you cannot expect a deer to come in every time you call to him. But that one time that it happens for you, believe me, it's going to make all the difference in your confidence level in calling deer. For instance, you have a big buck going up a hill, 30, 40, 50 yards out, not in your shooting lane where you can't take the shot. You give him a grunt, you get his attention, depending the volume, depending on how far he is, the wind conditions, whatever, you get his attention, and then you turn around and you give him a couple of tending grunts, and that buck turns and comes into you, and you harvest him. Believe me, it is an experience of a lifetime. It will never get any better than that. Calling deer, guys, let's get at it.
By holding record book status, Stan speaks from experience with both conviction and authority, having hunted for over 30 years. Well, we now find ourselves joining another veteran bow hunter, world champion caller Steve Stoltz, who has also earned the confidence to effectively call whitetail deer. Let's listen in. Steve knows that periodic but non-repetitive grunting and rattling at high movement times of the day, such as late afternoon or early evening, can be extremely productive. Marvel at the sight of this world-class whitetail responding instinctually by circling downwind of the caller's position, an ill-fated tribulation that a bow hunter must be willing to accept. We at Drury Outdoors strongly feel the trade-off is unprecedented. One sighting of a mature monster-class whitetail of this caliber is above and beyond the wildest of dreams.
in he came. You know it's right. You know it's ready when you can bang those rattling antlers. He has no doe with him. So he thought there was a fight down here. In he came. He was huge. Beautiful. Beautiful.
A mere sighting of an animal of this stature on foot during daylight hours under 100% wild, fair chase conditions certifiably proves how effective power calling can be. This truly is a monster class whitetail. True sportsmen can relate to bone-chilling temperatures, near frozen toes, and frost on your mustache, while either lying in the warmth of your quilted bed or sitting next to a roaring fire in the fireplace and paging through your favorite hunting magazine with the anticipation of what this year's season might bring. Well, a sportsman, by popular definition, is not just someone who will harvest white-tailed deer at will, but someone who has the utmost respect for the animal and makes a conscious effort to manage the herd. Steve's saga continues, only now his dreams of harvesting a mature buck are overshadowed briefly in an attempt to harvest a doe.
Meh. Down right there. We came in here this morning. The rut is just starting to kick in. It's not quite ready yet. There's a lot of does here at Heartland, and we're trying to manage does. And I tell you, if you want some meat for the freezer, that's the thing to do. Shoot a doe. What a rewarding feeling, this hunt this morning. It's incredible. In this spot, we're on a brushy ridge and kind of a transition area between feed on top, and it's real thick behind here. And we're kind of in between, and they like to travel through here. It's kind of trails crisscrossing, and we thought with the rut getting ready to begin, we thought we'd catch a big buck following a doe. But this morning, we took off to try and harvest a doe, and that's exactly what we did this morning. Worked out perfect, because I looked behind these does as they were coming in, and I didn't see any buck with them. So as she got closer, I just put the pins on her and let her go. And you know, trophy deer management involves taking does, because you got to be able to thin out the does so the buck-doe ratio is more balanced. So it doesn't hurt to shoot a doe if you want some meat for the freezer, and let those little tiny rack bucks go. If you're on trophy management, let the little tiny rack bucks go and let them get bigger. And that's why the age structure is so high here at Heartland, because they do that. And it worked out perfect, because we got a good one for the freezer today.
There's truly something magical about mid-November. The rut can kick in full swing because of any number of occurrences. An old favorite of ours is an unforeseen weather front fast approaching. It can almost act as a light switch, turning the activity level up to a boil. This young buck begins what will turn out to be a most eventful day in the timber. One estrus doe can remarkably transform several bucks into relentless bloodhounds. A crucial time to attempt power calling is at a high activity frenzy such as this. Multiple bucks chasing a single doe is the perfect scenario to stage a fight.
Man,
a great thing, how far it's came in the last 10 years, calling deer. There's a lot of ways to call deer. There's an old saying that I like, curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity is a great way to harvest a deer. They're a very curious animal. There's early season, doe calls, doe grunts, doe bleats, fawn bleats. Works very well. In the rut, grunts, tending grunts, grunts running a scrape line. Late season stuff, you get back into the bleats, the fawn bleats, the doe bleats. Curiosity, you play on the curious nature of a white-tailed deer. They're a very curious animal. Sometimes a white-tailed deer by itself is very curious. There's another deer in the area. He's by himself. They're just like people. Maybe they're lonely. Curious comes right in.
With briars slapping you in the face and clawing at your thigh, you trudge through a thicket, and it opens into a wonderland. A land laced with huge rubs, cedars 6 to 8 inches in diameter, sap oozing from a spot that looks like a road sign. And a road sign it is. Visions of a monster buck ripping this cedar up and down immediately flood your mind. Tall rack, massive heavy horns, sharp brow tines. Not hard to picture an image so vivid. That is exactly how this chapter of our story unfolded.
Should have been a good shot. That is a nice buck. Really nice buck. He was a really good buck. We just barely climbed up in the stand. We were a little bit late getting here this morning. And man, first got it right out of the bag. He comes slipping down, slipping through this real brushy timber. And I think it was a complete pass-through right behind the shoulder. It looked like a good shot. Decent arrow placement. Whew, man, he's a dandy. He's a good buck. I don't know. Yes. I don't know if I have ever seen an arrow drenched in blood like this one. I felt as though it was a good hit. Blood there. My gosh. He's just spraying blood out everywhere. Even though I felt it was a really, really good hit, I'm still not sure of my shot, not exactly. So what I don't want to do is pressure the deer out of an area. It could be a single lung, it could be a liver. If I hit him too far back, it could be a liver hit. So what I want to try and do is keep the wind in my favor and take it as slow and as cautiously as possible and try and slip up and keep from boogering the deer out of the area. So I want to make sure that the wind is in my favor. And it is. It's keeping the wind from him towards me. Good boy. Real good boy. Hey, there he is. There he is. Yes! My. What can you say about an animal of this caliber? Gee, manently. Unbelievable. That's all I can say. It's, you know, it's beyond words. You can't describe the feelings that go through a person's heart when you truly harvest an animal of this caliber, because they're so ghost-like and so spooky. You know, this is what you drive down the highway and you think of all the time, or you're sitting behind your desk in an office and you're dreaming of. And I do. I dream about things like this all the time. But for the dream to come true and to harvest something like this, it just doesn't happen that often. So when it does, it's a really sweet reward. I'll tell you, the animal, I treated this almost as if it was a bad hit, and I do that with every deer that I harvest with a bow. But I hit him right where I thought I did. I hit him high lung on the entrance side, and looks like it probably went through the liver and exited low on the opposite side, but he went a lot further than I thought he should have, and it kind of bothered me. So I took my time and I kept the wind at my face, and he came probably 350 or 400 yards, which I knew immediately it was not a double lung hit. But the proof's in the pudding here. I stayed with it and I kept on the track and did it slow and methodically, and sure enough, was able to find him, fortunately enough for me. What dreams are truly made of right here, I'll tell you. My goodness. Oh yeah. Yes. He was a really good buck. We just barely climbed up in the stand. We were a little bit late getting here this morning. And man, first got it right out of the bag. He comes slipping down, slipping through this real brushy timber. And I think it was a complete passer right behind the shoulder. It looked like a good shot.
Our lifelong dreams were rapidly becoming a reality. This journey we have undertaken has become far more rewarding than anyone could have anticipated. Mornings such as this make it all worthwhile. And yet again, aspirations of a dream come true. The wide rack 10-point on a trail where several does had previously traveled, heading straight for the tree. Unfortunately, the slightest bit of movement can often awaken you from the dream of a lifetime. As your dream slips away, you abruptly attempt to recall how you could have changed or altered the turn of events.
Man, that was a nice 10-point. That deer looked like he was about 18 inches wide. Man, he looked big coming down through there. Those does had just come in. And they kind of caught our track where we came in. They went running up through the field. And I was sitting here doing the interview about him, and one long I looked up and I saw this wide buck coming down through there. I about died. He'd come all the way in, and he was coming in the trail that I'm hunting. Normally they walk right down here below the stand. So I committed to this side of the tree. And lo and behold, he decides to go to that side. When he did, I tried to slip around, and he it's so quiet this morning, he kind of heard me turning in the stand, and he got nervous and got on through there, and then I didn't have a lane once he got that brush on me, so that's amazing. What a nice buck, though. Beautiful buck. I would guess him, probably a 3.5-year-old 135-inch 10-point. Nice deer. Nice deer.
Leaves are on the ground, late October, early November. Talking about calling deer during the rut, just as the rut begins. One of the very best times to call deer. What I'm talking about here is bucks running scrape lines. Early morning seems to be the best time in my experiences. Early morning when a buck is coming down, running a scrape line, going to his bedding area. You will hear the soft grunts. Not too aggressive. Keep it soft. As he's moving through the woods, running those scrape lines, you'll hear that grunt here, then 40, 50 yards down, another grunt, then another grunt as he's moving through. Give him a soft grunt. Don't get too aggressive, like I said. Give him a soft grunt. It will bring him in. And the reason it will bring him in is because he's curious. Whitetails are a curious animal. He wants to find out who that is and where he fits in the pecking order. Great time. Curiosity killed the cat.
Stan's dynamic information proves to be effective year after year and deer after deer. The proverbial sportsman realizes the importance of proper herd management, removing mature does that may not be capable of bearing offspring in order to improve the carrying capacity of the habitat, and more importantly, monitor the buck-to-doe ratio is the #1 factor for trophy management. Stan's goal is to do just that, harvest a mature doe.
Until I saw her go down right in here. You know, I saw her from the stand. There she is, right there. Harvesting big mature does. It is the most important thing to quality management, and that's what we was here for. We was set up just on the inside of a good stalk field, cut cornfield that had corn still left on the ground from the harvest. Expected her to come through. She came right through just perfect. The big adult doe. It doesn't get any better than this. This is the most important part of quality management right here, to save your bucks, to save your 18-month-old bucks. You pass them up, they'll stay around if you harvest enough of your big does like this. These big does chase these 18-month-old bucks off. If there's too many of them in the herd, too many, they chase them off. Take these does, do it, you'll save your bucks.
That's the 6th buck we've seen this morning. Most of them have been a year and a half old. We've seen one good one this morning. It's about 9:30 though. The rut's really kicking in. Hopefully, with any luck, we'll see another one. They're really moving. Shoot it right there. Shoot it right there.
Sometimes even our dreams or subconscious do not elevate to the universal planetary proportions that one might expect. Although, when you find yourself daydreaming, never in your wildest imagination would you fathom what is about to happen to young Oklahoma native Mark Scroggins. Another chapter right out of our warm-hearted novel. Enjoy.
He's in the creek. He's in the creek.
Right there a while ago. And he went up to chase another little buck, and I didn't know if he's gonna come back. Finally, he come back around. I hit the horns again. He come right back down. Yo, it doesn't get any better than that. You gotta love it, baby. You got to love it. Yes. Oh. Look at those tines sticking up, baby. Oh, yes.
With every great success story, just a little bit of luck is usually instrumental. Not one, but two opportunities at a monster buck such as this are truly what dreams are made of.
Man, what a animal. Look at that thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 points. It just doesn't get any better than that. That guy hunts and dreams all of his life, hoping to kill an animal like that. Man, man, man. I tell you, it was like a light switch this morning. We've been hunting. Well, I've been up for a couple of weeks, hunting. The last couple of days been real slow. The rut hadn't really kicked in, but this morning it's like you flipped a light switch and it come on. This was the 9th buck we'd seen this morning from the stand here at Heartland. And you just wonder, I'm from Oklahoma, we don't grow them like this there. The Midwest, they have some animals. You talk about the genetics to grow big antlers. They flat have them. We're on a funnel situation this morning. We've been hunting closer to bedding areas, rattling and trying to call these animals in, but they're starting to chase the does, so we got in a funnel here between two cut cornfields, and the bucks are running these does in here back and forth between these two cut cornfields. We just got set up off that doe trail, and here he come. He come in once and almost got a shot at me. He went up the hill, and finally he come back in. I thought it was a different buck at first, but I think he's the same buck now. What a animal. It just doesn't get any better than that, baby. Oh, man. We had him right there. And he went up to chase another little buck, and I didn't know if he was going to come back. Finally, he come back around. I hit the horns again. He cut right back down. Yo, it doesn't get any better than that. You gotta love it, baby. You got to.
Rattling deer, one of the most effective ways to harvest a big buck, especially when you use it in conjunction with the power punch. Let's talk a little bit about rattling and calling in conjunction. For instance, you rattle a big buck in. A lot of times when you rattle a big buck, especially a big mature buck, older age class, he comes in, he hangs up 50, 60 yards out, tries to circle downwind, he's nervous, he does not see the deer there. That's when you use your power punch and your grunt call. You use the grunt to loosen him up. He doesn't see the buck, but you let him hear the grunt, then he knows the buck is there. Lots of times it loosens him right up. Here he comes right on into you. You make the shot. In conjunction with the rattling, there is no better 1-2 punch in the business, period.
Every father dreams of spending quality time with his son in the great outdoors, particularly if this happens to involve the sport that is the love of your life. Well, my son Matt is in for the day of his life. Unbeknownst to him, it may be a long time before he has another day in the wild quite as exciting as the one he is about to have. You will spend the entire day with Matt as he attempts to harvest his very first deer with a bow. To begin, we have elected to position his stand on the edge of a wheat field, where the field narrows down, creating a funnel. It serves as a dual purpose. One, in that any deer passing through this funnel is almost within bow range. And two, placing a novice hunter in an observatory position allows them to witness the maximum amount of activity, even though they are well out of bow range. By observing the wildlife for extended periods, this additionally acts as a means to reduce those first-time jitters.
There's a couple of does out there with all those turkeys. Maybe they'll feed their way over here.
The first buck, responding to the calling, approached Matt's position from below, just inside the timber.
They just couldn't circle this way, could they? He went straight there.
The second buck was an impressive monster that cautiously approached the funnel area, but would not respond to the grunting.
Man, the big bucks were moving. They're just everywhere. We don't have enough time to get set up, Harley. They're just moving so fast. Hopefully another one will move in and get a little closer this time. I know what we have to do to kill one. Buck. Down here. I think it's in someone.
Matt's third encounter involved the same curious buck that came in for a look the first time. again from below, just inside the timber.
That's close. He was coming in pretty hard, but he came straight downwind, and plus he was quartering too, and that's just a risky shot. I didn't want to take it, but he must have winded us. A cold front's starting to kick in, and as you can see, all these turkey and deer are starting to move. They're really picking up around here.
With gusting winds escorting in a major front, Matt elects to move into a deep hollow later that evening, where much of this activity has led to. Between a combination of the rut in full swing and the fast approaching weather front, the buck activity is at a peak. This encounter yields a curious buck circling through thick brush downwind of the calling origin.
He just wouldn't come or shoot me. He walked right around it. I tried to get him to stop in another lane I had, but he walked right past it too. Nothing I could do about it.
As dusk quickly approaches, one hot doe files past. Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's exciting. My arrow didn't make
Where
you been? I was about ready to come looking for you.
Shot a deer.
You're kidding.
No, but I think I hit him a little low.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Find the arrow?
No, I snuck out of the stand. I didn't want to spook him, so I figured I should come out and find you, get some help.
Ooh, well, okay. They're doggone, they're calling for heavy rain tonight. Let's go back to the lodge, see if we can't find Tad and Mike. Try and round up some lanterns and some lights, and we'll see if we can't go find him.
Sounds good.
I hate to look for him. If you hit him bad, I hate to look for him right away. But with the weather they're calling for, let's go see if we can't round him up. I tell you what, we brought him. I know 125, 150 yards, but there's still a lot of air in that blood. I feel a lot better about the hit now, don't you, Tad?
Yeah, that's real good blood. I think. I think the way he's bleeding, he won't be too much further.
Matt, you hit him better than you thought.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
He must have ducked down when I shot.
I bet he did. I bet he dropped right into the arrow.
Mike, you got any more blood up there?
Yeah, right here.
Let's keep going.
Well, looks good.
Yeah, here's a good spot here.
Bleeding good.
Yeah, here's some more blood right here, Ted.
Yep.
Bleeding good.
Hey, Matt, look here.
Hey, buddy, look at that.
Yeah. All right. Woo! Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh. Nice. All right.
Way to go, Matt.
Yeah.
Look at that. Holy cow. What a buck. Man, oh man. Your first deer. Holy cow.
Congratulations, buddy. Thanks. I can't believe it. All right.
All right, Mike, let's get him cranked up and see what he'll weigh. Man, he's going to go right at 180 pound field dress.
He's a lot bigger than
What
I
a
thought.
deer. Wow. Holy cats.
It's a pig.
Hey, Stan, look at this. Check this out, buddy.
Gee, my Natalie.
Look at
Holy
this.
cow.
Matt got him last night.
Another big 8.
Yeah,
Matt.
another 8-pointer.
Good job. Good job.
It's another Heartland buck. Can you believe that?
I mean, we are just tearing them up.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what kind of rut we've had this year. We got him on the same tree. I got that 153 out of it. No, same exact tree.
What a spot.
He was destined to fall to an arrow. He gave us 2 or 3 opportunities, so he was destined to go down. Mike and Tad come in last night and helped us film him. We had all the rain we got. We wanted to get in there and find him before the flood trail washed away. It's been good, hasn't it?
It's been tremendous. It's been as good a rut as I've seen in a lot of years.
Yeah, it's one of the most intense ruts we've seen in a long time. Let's go grab a bite to eat. What do you say?
Hey, great job. Great job, Matt. Thanks. The estrus doe bleat, one of the most deadly calls that you can make with this power punch during the peak of the rut. Many, many times it's worked well for me over the years in the deer woods. Great scenario. Buck by himself moving through the timber, looking for a doe. During the peak of the rut, that's what they're doing, traveling midday anytime, looking for a doe. You stop that buck with a grunt, get his attention with a grunt. Turn, give him another grunt. Then he thinks, hey, there's a buck down there. Possibly he's curious. You've already got him curious. Then give him the doe estrus bleat. It will loosen him up. He will come in most of the time. Nothing works all the time, but this is one of the most deadly calls, one of the most deadly sounds that you can use during the peak of the rut, calling deer. Believe me, try it, practice it on the power punch, use it. It works. It works for all of us at Drury Outdoors.
tree right away. I was going for my horns. And he's going to circle downwind at all costs. He's not going to come right by this tree. But he was sure attentive. I don't know if you noticed, every time I'd rattle, boy, he'd snap that old head and look at him. There was 4 or 5 does up here in this field, and I know he's trying to get up there with him and check him out. Doggone, just couldn't get him in. Still avoiding this tree at all costs. He went straight downwind. We had 4 or 5. There was 4 or 5 does up there feeding. It looked like maybe 2 mature does and a couple yearlings earlier this morning, just as the sun was coming up. And he went up there and checked each one of their scent trails. Doggone it, he circled plumb downwind. I tried to grunt and rattle him in here, but I couldn't get him in. He's avoiding this tree at all costs. Man, oh man, nice deer, real nice buck.
If your dream season has truly been fulfilled, then just the sheer pleasure and enjoyment that one receives when witnessing a monster-class whitetail under 100% fair chase conditions are satisfactory enough.
seen a deer react like that. He was wanting to get through here, but he picked me off early. He saw me up this tree, and no matter what I did, I could not get him within bow range. You could see him standing up there, steam rolling out of his nose and off his tail. My gosh. I tried grunting and tickling horns. I tried everything. And I've only got 2 hands. I'm trying to hold my bow and grunt and rattle and all that stuff. Unbelievable. But I think he'd picked me off early, and I just could not get him within bow range. Beautiful deer. My gosh, is he a gorgeous buck. Real tall rack and narrow.
The cast of characters have one by one fulfilled their dream seasons. A father has shared the most memorable day life has to offer with his young son. Numerous encounters with trophy-class whitetails only a handful of hunters have ever witnessed. What more can one dream of? Well, our story continues as a young lady tough as nails, but sweet as apple pie, endures everything Mother Nature could serve up in one season. Persistence is Kandi Kisky's strongest virtue as she attempts to harvest her very first buck with a bow.
Sure might not have been a big buck, but he's felt like a Boone Crockett to me. That was great. Let's go get him. This is really exciting. My very first buck with a bow. This is truly rewarding after 2 years of hunting with a bow. Boy, everything worked out just perfect. Saw him from across the bean field, and I grunted twice with my monster buck adjustable. He came right in. he came to 20 yards broadside, came to full draw, stopped him, and don't have to say much more than that. He's great. What a buck. He's a nice 6-pointer. Sure might not have been a big buck, but he's felt like a Boone Crockett to me. That was great.
Power punch grunt call. What is it and how's it work? Power punch is probably 5 or 6 years in the making. We started Mad Calls about 4 years ago with the Monster Buck Adjustable, and we'd always get frustrated with having to take the outer part off and move the O-ring, and also take one tube to another tube to get different tones. Well, with the Power Punch, you can do any vocalization in the whitetail's vocabulary, all with one call and all at the touch of a button. Number one, the extender tube and how it works. From deep tending grunts all the way down into little blats and bleats, you can get different tones. How's the punch button work? Well, if you look at it very carefully and look at the internal part and how this button manipulates the reed, you can go through the entire vocabulary of the whitetail by just simply taking that button and leaving it like that for big tending grunts, and then as you come down and contact the reed, you can get into a little bit more high-pitched grunt, and then the further the reed goes down, you see incrementally there, you go through the entire vocabulary. So that punch button is actually manipulating that reed from a tending grunt all the way in to a fawn bleat down in the down position. Let me explain a little bit further and give you an example. Here's that tending grunt. All the way down into a fawn bleat or a doe mew. You can actually take that button, move it a little bit, and put some urgency in that call. It's an amazing call. Take it, play with it. You can do anything in a whitetail's vocabulary with one call.
Here at Shadow Oaks is incredible. It's good to have turkeys around your stand because if there's turkey, there's usually deer. They're feeding on white oaks around here. Turkey population's incredible. I know the deer population is great too here. Looking forward to hunting in the spring. I'm sure the woods will explode.
Having already harvested a doe, Steve Stoltz's dream season was near complete. His objective is now focused on a reoccurring adventure of harvesting a mature whitetail buck.
Here he comes.
calling to a mature whitetail buck in the wild while lying in the sparse cover of a CRP field is something very few hunters would ever dream of. But you are about to witness how remarkably curious a whitetail can be.
Buck in out here. I missed him clean. I guess I misguessed the yardage. Got up here. A couple big bucks out here chasing does. So, rather than getting a stand, we decided to stalk up this creek. Got close enough where the buck can hear me rattle, and one of them busted off and came right in. You saw it. And I guess I thought he was a little too far than he was.
Steve's quest will now unfold back in his stand where he belongs. Although his confidence level remains high because of the response to the calling, enjoy this happy ending to a story we felt worthy of sharing.
Here he comes. He's circling. He's circling. My gosh. Oh, I had just rattled. It is the peak of the rut. It is 12:22. We've been seeing deer midday movement. So I just said, I'm gonna come into this spot. This is a good transition area, a lot of big, huge rubs. Apparently that buck's making some of them. And it's like a funnel spot right through here. Good transition area. And I thought, I'm gonna bring a lunch. I brought a sandwich with me and just rattled about every half hour. And just got done rattling and that buck come in. I mean, he missed the point a little bit, and I saw him up there, and I'm gonna tell you, this power punch grunt did the trick. If I didn't have this, he would have never came in. I'm gonna tell you, what a buck. That is a whitetail dreams are made of, no doubt about it. I promise you, I have dreamed all my life to kill a buck like that. Oh, better be quiet here. He ran off up the hill. These are the kind of blood trails you want to see. Good bright red blood. Right there. Oh, you can see his tracks where he's there he is! Yes! Oh, that was a thrill. I'll tell you, to see a pig like this walk by your stand is incredible, the feeling. And I have waited all my life to harvest a big, mature trophy whitetail like this. It's a feeling beyond belief, I want to tell you. And I owe this deer to Mark and Terry Drury because they told me to stay in the stand all day. And I wasn't. I was getting out of the stand at midday and going to eat lunch and getting back in, and they were seeing their big buck movement at midday. So today, it was my last day of the hunt. I'm going home for Thanksgiving tomorrow, and so I thought I'd stay in a tree at least till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 20 minutes after 12, I banged the rattling antlers together, and here come this hog. And you know, this is a good example of what John Doty has here at Shadow Oaks out here in Kansas. If you want a good late rut hunt and a chance to harvest a big trophy mature whitetail, the age structure out here is incredible, and John has access to like 30,000 acres out here in Kansas. If you want to hunt, get a hold of John, because I'll promise you this is an example of what's out here. What a beautiful, beautiful trophy animal. My God, what a deer. What a buck! My gosh! Oh, I had just rattled. It is the peak of the rut. It is 12:22.
Dream. A series of images or thoughts in the mind of a person asleep. A vision, an aspiration, to have yearnings.
Oh, man. It is so cold this morning. I'm shaking like a leaf. 25 degrees. She's down right there. We came in here this morning. The rut is just starting to kick in. It's not quite ready yet. There's a lot of does here at Heartland.